Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, where we are going to be reviewing episode 4 of Black Lightning. And as always, reviewing these episodes with me is my co-host, Rebellious D. How are you doing today, Bay?
Hey,
Did I
man.
just call you Bay?
Yeah, you did.
I don't know why I meant to call you brother, but I'm just gonna stick with Bay. You know I got love for you, man.
Hey, mad love. Yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. Good to see you as always. Right to rock.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. But before we do that, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to our channel, and you hit that bell button so you're always notified when we have new videos up on the channel. So, D, are you ready to go?
Yeah, podcast in the description. Check us out.
All right, let's rock. So, episode 4 is called A Light in the Darkness, and it starts off with Jefferson reliving, well, not reliving, but seeing the image of Lynn with Tobias at the restaurant. Because remember, on last week's review, we thought that I thought Jefferson was going to go in there and be ready to kill Tobias after he saw him in there with his wife. And he has a dream where Lynn is working with Tobias and she poisons him, and then she ends up using the serum to give herself her metahuman abilities. And then Jefferson, he wakes up from the dream. That's how the episode starts. D, like, what did you think was going to happen when the episode started? And because I know last week you said that you thought that Jefferson was just going to leave because he didn't want to cause a scene, and you were right. So
yeah,
like, what was your opinion when you saw the episode once it started?
It was interesting. I thought that was gonna be the play he was gonna make. That's about it. I just thought he was gonna leave and privately confront her, because that seemed more of his style, or getting back to the original style that Jefferson had.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just interesting because it's like Jefferson, he already knows that he can't defeat Tobias right now because Tobias is gassed up. So he just has to take that aggression out somewhere, which we'll get to later on in the episode. But we go to Jennifer, who has returned home now. She's brought Grace back to the apartment, and it's kind of because they're married now. Congratulations. And it's kind of like it starts off a little bit rocky because Anissa, she says something to Grace. What is it that she said again to her, D, that kind of pissed her off? Wasn't it about, because she was just like, this is my place, and Grace is just like, well, shouldn't this be our place? You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy because I feel like Grace, she loves Anissa, but I don't think that she was ready to get married. I feel like Anissa kind of just jumped the gun on that, just because it was a possibility that Grace could have died. And she's what is that called when it's like, you jump the gun on stuff? It's not a midlife crisis. I mean, it can be.
I'm just gonna say she overreacted. I mean, Grace just came out of a coma,
Yeah.
So what would you be thinking when you just woke up? It's just like, you have to kind of put the pieces back together, I'd imagine. So, and then this is just kind of, steamrolling through things. Oh, you're awake. Let's get hitched. Let's live together.
Like, and right away. And
that's a no-go.
And the thing is too, is that nobody knows. Like, Jennifer doesn't know, Lynn doesn't know, Jefferson doesn't know. And it's crazy. And we see that Jefferson, he goes and he visits Gamby and TC, and he is pretty much livid because of him seeing his wife with Tobias. And he pretty much just wants to go out on the streets and kill Tobias. And Gamby, always being the father figure and the voice of reason for Jefferson, he's just like, look, you need to calm down. It's like, if Lynn was going to tell you which Lynn, she still hadn't told Jefferson. So it's like, I understand why he was furious, because it's just like, I see my girl with, my arch enemy, and it's just like, she doesn't tell me anything about this. And he goes to Gamby, says that he wants to do something about it, and Gamby tells him, it's just like, you just need to calm down. I'm sure that Lynn has her reasons. It's just like, she knows, like, she's made all these sacrifices. She's helped the family out. She's done all this stuff. So it's just like, there has to be a reason why she hasn't told you yet. And Jefferson, he does go and he visits Tobias, and he tells Tobias that, you know, you need to stay the hell away from my wife. Yep. And Tobias is just like, well, we work together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I was just having dinner with one of my colleagues. And it's like, this just pushes Jefferson even further to the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, like he's already pissed off because, you know, like we saw in the first episode with Henderson not being here anymore. He's lost his best friend. You know, he has his daughters that are out in the streets doing their own thing. Tobias is still alive and he can't do anything about it. On the last episode, you had the teenager get killed. His co-worker's son got killed in a gunfight. You know what I'm saying? And he's not wearing the costume. He's just going out there. He's kind of not doing vengeance anymore. It's like he's doing revenge. He's getting revenge on people whenever they do something. And that's not the superhero code. It's like Jefferson, it's like he's kind of like a ticking time bomb right now.
Yeah, he kind of is, Banks. It's going to be very interesting to see at what capacity they have him pick up the pieces and become Black Lightning again. I think that's what we're going to end up getting. But it's I think the pace is really good. And it's always so much going on in these episodes, like you said, with Nyssa having her own secret life, basically, and all this stuff. It's just like everybody's too busy to know what's going on with each other, really.
Exactly. And we also have Tobias, who is trying to set up something that's like a benefit in the neutral zone that Anissa had set up between all the gangs and whatnot. And this is when we find out that Tobias, he still is the snake that he is. You know, Mayor Billy Black, he knows Tobias. He knows about Tobias's past and whatnot. And he's kind of been, what's the word I'm looking for? He's kind of, you know, been like standoffish on some of the stuff that Tobias has wanted to do. But because this is something that is for the community, you know, he agrees to go with him on this. Now, we find out that Wesley, who is the mayor's advisor, I believe he's his advisor. If not, he works with the mayor.
Yes.
He's secretly working for Lala, and he lets Lala know what's going on. We find out that Lala, he has more of the guns, the DEG guns. And there's a soldier that's talking to him, and we find out that this is a soldier that Lala ended up killing, and he's tattooed to his body. And when the soldier tells him, he's just like, hey, I'm just a soldier. I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you, you know, the ins and outs of these weapons. He just goes back into Lala's body. And then that's when Wesley shows up and he tells Lala about the benefit that's going to go down. And Lala, he's getting the 100 ready so that way that they can run up on Tobias. You know what I'm saying? They roll up on him. But before we get to that, I wanted to go back to Jefferson, who is he's doing the cage fighting. It wasn't just a one and done thing. He's continuing to do it because it allows him to get that rage out of his system, you know, because like I said earlier, with everything with Henderson and the stuff that's going on at home with Lynn, and then now the situation with Tobias, Jefferson is pissed.
Yes, so he is.
He's still doing the fights, and Lala tells Jefferson that, you know, you just need to back down. It's time for you to go, because at the end of the day, it's just like everybody knows who Jefferson Pierce is. And if people find out about, you know, what I'm doing here, that's going to kind of be a bad look on you. So Lala was looking out for Jefferson because it's, go ahead, D.
No, I was going to say it was more of his like exact words were like, if I let the golden boy Freeland get killed, they're gonna put me under the jail.
Exactly.
You know what that means, man. It's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, continue. Back to you.
So Jefferson, he's fighting with one of the guys in the cage, and Jennifer, she's with TC.
Yep.
And as they're watching the stuff, I really love this scene because Jennifer, she, like TC said, I'm watching this cage fight, and he was just like Fight Club, and Jennifer was just like, well, what's Fight Club? And I can't remember what Jennifer said to him, but she said something to him, and TC didn't know what she was talking about. So I love the chemistry between the two. I do hope that some like there's a
Fight
relationship.
Club.
No, well, I mean, like there's like a relationship.
No. That's what she said. Fight Club, and he was like, "What's that?"
Oh, okay, so she said Fight Club, but what did he say? He said
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
There we go. And she didn't know
like, she was like, "What's that?"
Yeah, that's
right. It was a good trade off. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it was a good trade off. So I love the chemistry between the two. And as they're watching, Jennifer, she's like, "Hey, is there any way that you can zoom in on the face or erase the faces because the faces are hidden?" And that's when she sees that it's Jefferson. And of course she tells Lynn, and Lynn, she's furious about this. I also want to touch on too, TC, he's really concerned about Jennifer because Jennifer, first off, after she took that photo with the kid in the last episode, her Instagram blew up and now she has over 2 million followers. And she needs to handle this situation because of course her parents don't know about it. And she's also still going up into the upper atmosphere. And he's concerned because it's like she's feeding off of way too much energy, as we saw in the first episode, where it's like she was up there and she started falling down and crashing hard because she took too much energy. So moving along, Lynn, she confronts Jefferson and she tells him, like, why are you fighting? Like, what's going on? And then that's when Jefferson opens up to her about, he saw her with Tobias, like, why didn't you tell me and all this stuff? And she was just like, I was going to tell you, but I work with Tobias and everything. It's like, there was nothing going on between us. I would never betray you like that. And it's funny too, because early when Jefferson went to go talk to Tobias was just like, you and your wife are divorced. So it's like, at the end of the day, she's just a baby mama. And I'm just like, this dude Tobias, man, it's like
taking all the digs, brother.
Yeah, it takes all the digs, man. And it's like, that's one thing that I love about Tobias is that Tobias, he'll always say some slick stuff. And it's like, he backs it up. And so going back to, Jefferson and Lynn, it's kind of like they reconciled because she was like, I'm not going to work for Tobias. And Jefferson's just like, no, you should work for him. So that way we can figure out what's going on. So D, I want to ask you, like, how did you feel about, the Jeffersons and Lynn finally coming back together? I was trying to say the Pierces, but I forgot that her last name is Stewart right now. But
yeah, it is.
How did you feel about, them finally talking it out? And do you think moving forward that they're going to be a cohesive unit, or do you think that there's still going to kind of be some sort of anguish between the two?
I actually think that at this point in the series, it's going to be about family building and putting it back together and slowly starting to trust one another. As far as the argument went, they needed to get those things off the chest. That's how it goes in any situation. At any capacity, you have to get it off your chest. And Tobias was taking digs at my man Jefferson, and I think Jefferson will get the last laugh. But it seems like they've done such a good job because it really does seem like Tobias has all of the cards, And that's, I mean, Jefferson's going to come up with something. I actually think that it may come down to him using that special gun at some capacity to dispatch him. Because you heard what the lady said. Either it could deal with a carjacker or it could deal with a meta. So, yep.
Yeah, and something that's interesting because I'm glad that you brought up Lauren. She and Gamby, they end up meeting up, and Gamby, he's trying to let her know that the guns are too powerful and they need to figure out a better energy source so that way that these guns won't kill people. And she agrees to listen to Gamby. And then they walk into the bedroom, and we can only imagine what happens next. I'm thinking that they probably were playing video games, or that My Hero Academia season 5, the new trailer just dropped. She was probably showing them that. So who knows? But I wanted to talk about Rebecca Larson because in the last episode, Lightning, she was able to get the video footage that showed everything that happened in the scene, and they were able to upload it to the internet. And Rebecca Larson, like I said, she's just like Tommy Lauren, where she's just like, no, Lightning is still a threat. Y'all need to listen to me. I don't know like how she got this footage, but it's like she's still a problem to the area and whatnot. And something needs to be done about her. I want to ask you, D, Like,
Yes.
how do you feel about the Rebecca Larson character and how she's coming at Lightning? Because it's just funny because it's like she doesn't say anything about Thunder. You know what I'm saying? She hasn't said anything about Black Lightning, but she just goes after Lightning. And I'll let you say something first, and then I'll say what I think about it.
As far as Rebecca goes, Rebecca Larson, it's very interesting. I think they're going for like a Joan Jameson kind of vibe
J.
to
Jonah,
her.
yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson, yes. The man, the myth, the legend. Just trying to throw them under the bus, but it's interesting that her targeting, as far as meta goes, it's like narrowed down to Lightning.
Yes,
and I think it's kind of strange, or what makes her pinpoint her in particular. Like, is she doing more in the community than everybody else, or is she a lightning rod? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's one of those things where, because when you look at Black Lightning and when you look at Thunder, when they are out on patrol, like, they've never caused any damage to the community or anything like that, or nobody else was hurt in the process. And I feel like with Lightning, we saw the video footage. She's reckless with her power. We talked about this before. She hasn't had the same type of training, and that's something that Anissa has told her, is that you need training. It's like, because it's like, you're just a firecracker right now. You're just out there doing whatever you want to do, and you're not going to be able to save everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to be aware of your surroundings at all times, because if not, then like what happened with the teenage boy who ended up getting killed in the car, you know what I'm saying? So she makes some really good points, but at the same time, Lightning, she's doing what she knows is right, because somebody has to protect Freeland, because Black Lightning isn't there anymore. And then also too with Thunder, she's kind of doing her own thing too, because like now her and Grace are married, which I want to get to that, because that's where we get to the end of the episode. But before we get to that, Jefferson, he ends up going to a bar to get some drinks, and there are some patrons in there who are watching what Rebecca Larson is saying about Lightning. And then this old man is just like, yeah, Black Lightning, it's like he never did this type of stuff. And then the other lady at the bar, she was saying, yeah, Black Lightning this, and she's happy that we have like these new metahumans here in Freeland and whatnot. And then Jefferson starts talking about Black Lightning, and he's kind of like talking bad about Black Lightning. And while at the bar, Detective Shakur is there, and he starts talking positively about Black Lightning, and talks about how Black Lightning saved his life and pretty much set him on the path that he's on right now. Like, he ended up changing his life around, and he started going to school, because that's what Black Lightning told him to do: go to school, get an education. And it just goes to show you like how important Black Lightning is to Freeland, because he protects the community and he gives back to the community by helping people and setting them on the path that they need to go on. D, how did you feel about this scene? Because I felt like it was a really powerful scene.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think it was pretty cool to see him doubting himself and actually being in an environment where people were willing to step up for Black Lightning. And I think it was eye-opening for Jefferson, and to keep it short, I think it was very eye-opening for him, and it might have been the step that he needed to get back on his feet.
Yeah, it's kind of like Spider-Man 2, for example. Like, remember when Peter, he didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. And Aunt May, she was just like, since Spider-Man has gone away, like, crime has gone up and whatnot, and her neighbor across the street, like, he keeps on asking, when is Spider-Man coming back? And Peter has that scene, which is one of my favorite scenes in Spider-Man 2, when it's just like he doesn't use his powers, because he's just like, Peter Parker can do the same stuff that Spider-Man can do, and he saves the girl, and we find out that there was somebody else in the burning building who ended up dying. But if he was Spider-Man, he would have been able to save everybody. And I feel like that's what this scene was similar to, where it's just like Jefferson needs to hear this stuff. It's like Gamby, he can only help Jefferson out so much, but the people that were in the bar, these are people that Jefferson doesn't even know. I mean, he knows Detective Shakur, because he talked with him in the first episode, but he never talked with him face to face. You know, he made sure he stayed in the shadows. But I really hope that we get Jefferson back, hopefully by episode 6. I can see episode 6 we finally get him back. Moving along, the benefit goes on, and Tobias, he's there. Mayor Billy Black is there. They have Detective Lopez, she's there, and Chief Lopez and Detective Shakur. Yep. They're all there. The mayor is giving his speech on stage, and Anissa, she gets the call that 100 is gonna, be there, and the police activity is really high in that area and whatnot. And she calls up Jen, and she tells Jen to meet her up, and then Grace, she's gonna come there with her as well. And Grace, she has her own outfit down and whatnot, and they all get there to the scene. Lala, he's dressed up as a police officer, and he knocks somebody out, and then after that, they just start unloading. They start shooting at everybody and whatnot. The heroes, they end up showing up, and it's like they're trying to do their job. I can't remember if it was Jennifer. It was Anissa who told everybody to get down on the ground.
Yep, it was.
They end up protecting everybody that was on stage and whatnot. And then we find out that the mayor ended up getting shot, and I can't remember, is he dead or did he just get shot?
He was eliminated.
So he's dead now, and Chief Lopez is just like, what did y'all do? Like, he's dead because of y'all. This is on y'all. Like, I could have protected him, because it's funny, because when I watched the scene, I was just like, well, when did he die? Because it's like they were getting shot at, and then Anissa threw him down to the ground. And the same position he was in when Anissa threw him down to the ground was the same position he was in when they was just like, he's dead. So I'm trying to figure out, like, did he get shot before she did anything? We also see that Lala, he tried shooting Anissa with the DEG, and she was able to block it. So I just feel like the reason why she was able to do that is because the weapons that he had, it's just like they weren't the best quality of weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Which isn't, that might be a little foreshadowing too for the way the series comes to a close. With her being able to block it once, it may be a prediction that she tries it again at a higher dosage, a higher caliber, and gets blasted. So I hope not, because Thunder's my favorite character, but it happens.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, not to jump around, but we do know what actually happened to the mayor. So if you want to head that way, Banks, go ahead and break it to the people.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace.
Because that was actually a setup.
Yeah, Tobias, he wanted the mayor out of the way. So
exactly.
Because it's like I said earlier in this episode, it's like the mayor was always standoffish because of Tobias's past, and now with the mayor out of the way, Tobias is able to do what he wants to do. It's also pretty interesting too, because now that the mayor is gone, and now that Chief Lopez is, she has to pretty much do something about the metahumans. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they showed up, they thought that they were doing the right thing, which they were, but somebody ended up losing their life. And this is, like I was saying earlier, how with Lightning, it's like she's reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Thunder, she has never been the type of person to be reckless, but with that whole situation going, it just happened so fast. And maybe if they had already been there beforehand, I feel like it would have, happened. Something would have happened differently if they were already there on the scene. And pretty much what happens is Jennifer, she ends up flying up to the atmosphere again, and TC is talking with her, and he's just like, what are you doing up there? I already told you that you shouldn't go up there, and I'm just concerned about you. And she was just like, hey, everything's all right, you don't have anything to worry about. And then we see Jennifer, she's starting to light up, and she's not feeling good, and then she ends up exploding. And it's just like, well, where do we go from here? Like, it's like, because now she's gone. Hey,
to be announced. I think that it may be, I think that her being up there might have forced her powers to go to the next stage
Probably.
constant exposure. So now maybe she'll be able to become living lightning, So very interesting. What a cliffhanger.
It is. Oh, and I'm mad, but we forgot before that happens, Jefferson, he apologizes to Jennifer and tells her, he's sorry for doing what he's doing and not being a good father. And he tells her that he's going to change his ways. And I feel like this is something else that's going to lead to him becoming Black Lightning again. But still, bro, he still doesn't even know what happened at the scene tonight. You know what I'm saying? Jennifer, She was in her room. She had the door locked. She was crying. And then that's when it goes to the scene where she flies up into the atmosphere and she ends up exploding. So I'm definitely looking forward to next week's episode. These last 2 episodes have been really good.
Yep.
I want to know what is going to be the fallout now that the mayor is gone, and what is Chief Lopez going to do, because she's already said that she wants all of the metahumans in Freeland taken down, even though we haven't seen any other metahumans. We've only seen Thunder and Lightning, and then now you have Grace. So it's just going to be pretty interesting. D, what are your thoughts what we're going to probably see on next week's episode?
I think that Anissa and Grace are going to come to a crossroads once again in their relationship. I do think curious to see what Tobias is going to do next. And I just want to see Jefferson slowly start to get back up on his feet and start kicking some tail, man. I mean, I like the progression of the story. Can't wait to see next week's episode.
Yeah, same here, man. Like, I'm hoping to see Jefferson back as Black Lightning. Like I said, by episode 6, that's why I want to see him come back. I want to see what's going to happen now because of the fallout with what happened with the mayor, and if there's going to be some sort of curfew or something for the people in Freeland. Like, what's going to happen to the other metahumans? Like, where have all the other metahumans been at this entire time? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty interesting. Like, what's going to happen with Lala? Are they going to get better weapons so that way they can fight against Black Lightning, Thunder, and Lightning? What's going to happen with Jen? I'm hoping that we see her. I'm hoping that, like, she's somewhere, like, she's in the atmosphere, and like how you said, like, she levels up, pun intended. And she comes back and she's even more powerful. I just want Jen to get the training that she needs, though. Like, that's the biggest problem with Jen, is that, like, she's just kind of doing her own thing. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, everybody, for watching this review. We hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody that watches the reviews when we put them out every week. We love doing these Black Lightning reviews. They're fun. We love watching the show. And like I said before, it's just sad that the show is going to be ending. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you hop in the comments. Let's talk about this week's episode. And make sure that you subscribe to our channel and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new videos up on the channel. And D, let them know where they can find you at in social media land.
That's going to be rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com.
And you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me on Facebook by typing in Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Make sure that you follow all of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, we have a Patreon at Leveling Up Banks. We accept all donations because we do have bills to pay. And make sure that you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday. And that Friday, the video of that episode is up on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you also check out some of our video reviews, some of our reaction videos, and just check out all of the stuff that we have on our channel. We put a lot of time and energy into this, and we love you guys. We thank you for the support. And like I always say, keep that pinky up, and we'll see you on the next video review. Peace.
Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and get notified every time we upload a new one by subscribing and ticking the bell icon. You can also listen to the full episode by searching for Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to help support more great content like this, be sure to check us out on Patreon. We'll have the link posted in the description below. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.